Mascots have developed a special place in the world of sports, not because they depict some kind of support for the home team, but because there have been countless events over the years, thanks to mascots, that have brought us some of the funniest encounters, moments, or outbursts that you will ever see from the mascots themselves or from the people with whom the mascot interacts. Mascots rarely make the highlight reel of the matches, but you know when they do, it's because they've done something worth viewing over and over again. Here are some of the funniest mascot moments in sports. 15. Cal Bear vs. Stanford Tree. If you like mascots fighting, you've come to the right place. We have a couple for you on this list. The first is from the storied rivalry of Cal vs. Stanford, which goes down all the way to the mascots, the Cal Bear and the Stanford Tree. The tree hit first and attacked the bear, and fired a couple of punches. The bear recovered quickly in round 2, attacking the tree with a low strike and dropping it to the ground until the two were eventually separated. 14. Melanie Walker's mascot blunder. Melanie Walker, a Jamaican track star, participated in the IAAF, International Association of Athletics Federation, World Track and Field Championships, hoping to leave a good impression and secure some medals for her country. She actually did that, but she also managed to land herself in an embarrassing scenario as she jumped on the back of the mascot to celebrate, right up until the mascot ran straight into the cart and knocked both of them over. The next time she wins a major event, Walker might consider strutting her flag alone in victory. 13. Sparty vs. Bucky Badger. There is no staged hatred when it comes to college football. If the mascots are going at that too, it's because they want to tear off each other's heads. That is what happened a couple of years ago when Michigan State and Wisconsin faced off in a match. The two team mascots fought after Bucky Badger stole the flag of Michigan State. Bucky regretted the mischievous decision immediately when Sparty cut across the field and crushed Bucky Badger with a thunderous blow. The fight lasted a few seconds when the two were on the field, but it was eventually broken up. But Sparty's message had been delivered. 12. Puddles vs. the Cougar. Puddles is the popular mascot for the Oregon Ducks, renowned in the mascot community as a push-up machine and a generally handsome mascot. It is also very ferocious, as shown by the absolute beating he delivered to the Houston Cougars mascot. Puddles didn't take kindly the Cougar with a push-up on Oregon's home turf, so he began by charging on the Cougar mascot with some typical wrestling moves before knocking him down with some hard punches. Puddles also received some taunting, but there was no doubt who was the winner of this fight. 11. Banana mascot vs. security guard. This fight did not involve fists and punches, but was one of steps and moves, and it may have been much more enjoyable than some of the fights shown earlier. It's understood that the now world-famous banana mascot teases and attempts to rattle security guards. But on this day, his counterpart fought back with a flurry of dance moves that surprised the mascot and the whole stadium. The guard broke it down and then hurled the maracas of the mascot back at him. He then returned to his seat staunchly as though nothing had happened. 10. Banjo fail. The 2009 All-Star Game held a halftime show featuring mascots from all around the NBA. Banjo, the mascot for the Milwaukee Bucks, stood above the rim and then on the rim, apparently only trying to be part of the show. Unintentionally, one of the shots was hit in the basket by Banjo, and in an effort to either catch the ball or actually get off the rim, Banjo attempted to slip through the hoop. Later in the process of getting stuck, he ended up tearing up his knee. 9. Wild Wings Wild Show. A sheet of ice is the least suitable surface for a large majority of activities, so it's beyond comprehension why the Anaheim Ducks thought it would be a good idea to make their mascot Wild Wing hop over a bonfire on center ice. The mascot skipped the jump entirely and caught fire. The entire show was a huge disappointment, but at least it attracted some attention to a team which was still in its infant stages and was trying to create a following in a non-hockey market. 8. Mr. C vs. Student. Mascots are usually expected to live in accordance with their human counterparts who attend the game of their team. Sometimes, however, mascots and fans get into fights, like we saw when Vanderbilt's mascot Mr. C struck a student in the face, and it was a Vanderbilt student no less. Some claim it was unintentional, but it seemed pretty obvious that Mr. C had found fault with something that the student had done and decided to take matters into his own hands, hitting the kid with the right blow that triggered a very serious nosebleed. 7. Harvey the Hound vs. Craig MacTavish. Craig MacTavish is not so well received these days in Edmonton due to the awful disaster of the Edmonton Oilers. In a different period, however, MacTavish would be a champion after taking down the Calgary Flames mascot Harvey the Hound into his own hands. As the Flames were en route to a certain win, Harvey was near the Oilers' bench, taunting the Edmonton team. Harvey's giant red tongue was dangling over the glass, enough for McTavish to leap out and rip the tongue out and throw it back into the crowd. 6. Raptor Tumble. It seems like part of the criteria for becoming a mascot of the NBA team is to be reckless and maybe a little insane. When the Raptors mascot decided that it would be a smart idea to ride down the stairs of the Air Canada Centre on rollerblades, those characteristics were at the forefront. The crash was epic, as you would imagine. The brave mascot managed to get up and continue his journey down the stairs, but once he reached the court, he obviously was shaken up and falls again, before eventually succumbing, to common sense. 5. Tommy Lasorda confronts the Philly Fanatic. Tommy Lasorda won 1,599 games and 2 World Series championships as the manager of the Los Angeles Dodgers, and he's got no time for mascots. For instance, during one match against the Montreal Expos, Lasorda saw to it when the mascot of Montreal named Yuppie was ejected from the match, but his most popular mascot moment happened in 1988. Philly Fanatic taunted Lasorda with a Lasorda dummy. At first, Dodgers boss remained cool, but finally exploded and hunted down the mascot, tossing him to the ground and grabbing the dummy for himself. Before marching off, he even got a good hit on the mascot with his dummy. 4. Crazy Condor. There's a reason why most teams don't use live mascots, and this situation just proves them right. The Bakersfield Condors of the American Hockey League thought it would be a great idea to bring out a real condor prior to the actual game to stand at the center ice. The bird, however, had other plans. It fled its handler, partly owing to a timely drop over the ice. Eventually, the bird worked its way over to the benches, frightening the completely padded players before finally leaving the rink entirely. 3. Front flip fail. What's better than one mascot making a fool of himself? Not only this one mascot makes a fool of himself, but injures other mascots in the process. What happened was that when Bernie, the Miami Heat mascot, tried to do a flip over a handful of mascots lying on their backs at center court, it turned into a mess. Unfortunately for those on the court, Bernie's attempt fell short and he fell directly on the final 3 of the squad. The mascot suits may have been smiling, but the guys below were obviously in a lot of pain. Oh well, there are obviously guys under there. 2. Mackerel Jordan eats it. While it is not affiliated with any particular team, Mackerel Jordan is swift to make the case that it should be. In this particular film, the mascot begins to entertain the audience between the innings and then reaching out to the field worker who is raking the infield dirt. Before the worker pulls the classic hidden ball trick, the pair engage in a game of fetch. This, though, does not go too well with the fish, who gobbles the unfortunate worker instantly before ultimately spitting him back out, but with a little less clothing. 1. Struck Sharky. If you're going to the San Jose Sharks game, you should expect to see S.J. Sharkey entertain audiences with a variety of special tricks and acts. Perhaps he's known primarily for his grand entrances, usually coming down to the excitement of fans from the rafters. Things didn't go so smoothly back in 1999. On that particular night, Sharkey was trapped on the ice. In reality, the game was postponed as they attempted to get him down, which they eventually did by taking him back to the catwalk. You've just watched 15 funniest mascot moments in sports. Which one did you enjoy the most? Share with us in the comments. We hope you liked the video. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.